Hello everyone and welcome to LSI. Oh my lord, I've done it again. Okay, hold on a second. Let's try again. Third time lucky. Third time, of course. Friday, Saturday, I did it. This time I did it. Let's give it a shot. Hello everyone and welcome to the LSI summer season. We're today for the Friday to the British Grand Prix. It is a sprint race and if I'm correct, I don't think we're going to be getting any rain. We are quite a way into qualifying. Unfortunately, we start the stream a little bit late due to a couple of issues, but no worries about that. We're all good to go now. Zingy currently on top with a 27.2. Nifajan sitting in P2, a 10th behind. They're just about to start another lap. I assume it will be their penultimate lap as they will have time to go again if they wanted to. Although, would you want to do that? It's a sprint race, you might want to save tyres. You're not really going to be saving the soft tyres, however, so I don't think we're going to need to worry about that too much. 7 drivers on the grid. And we also, I think, are going to get an 8th. We should have had about 11, 12-ish, but unfortunately a couple backed out. So, yeah, that's how it goes. But never mind. We do move, of course. Nifajan is on their lap. They go through the first chicane. Let's see how they go and get that done. That third gear, as they do lose the rear a little bit, have to go for a correction, which is very easily done, so very unfortunate right there. Improving by 2 tenths to Zingy, so he's done a very good job, and now Nifajan has got a little bit more work to do. So he's got to get... why did I say 2 tenths? It was more about a tenth and a half-ish, maybe, kind of thing, I think. Anyway, Nifajan, he's going to be looking to try and improve and catch that if he possibly can. We will quickly get the data up on screen as he does invalidate. Unfortunately, he goes off the circuit just by a little bit too much, and that is enough to make that lap not count. So we'll see. Sector line, is he still pushing for it? He would have been pretty much dead on his time, so he wasn't going slow at all after that one. Pro in the Aston, the home team, they love Great Britain. Of course, we also do have McLaren on the grid. They're always good to see. I just want to quickly check something, so do bear with me. Hold on a second, I won't be long. Sorry for the wait. Just give me a second. Alrighty, hold on. Alright. We're all good to go. Don't need to look at that anymore. That is fine. And there you go. We're back in it. Okay, so Pro on his lap. Let's see what he can do. Sprint race, of course, so even if you mess up qualifying, you'll still have a good chance to get back in for the main race. You might just have a little bit more work. We do now have 8 drivers on the grid, so that does mean if you finish 8th, you only score 1 point in the sprint race. Of course, at least 1 point is always useful. Pro, of course, scoring a 2nd place finish back on Friday last week in Hungary. So he is 2nd in the championship and looking to try and keep that good form up. Maybe he can even be right up there on the grid. 27.3, so just nipping Nifajan, and it's not too bad. He's doing a pretty good job there. 3 minutes on the clock, so he might struggle to get in and get back out. It's not impossible, but it will be a little bit of a trek. So we'll see if he can do something, but yeah, no, I unfortunately think that will be it for Pro. That's going to be his last lap. So other drivers are going to have to try and beat that. We've got the 2 new drivers, of course, the AlphaTauri and Gatos in the McLaren. I said the AlphaTauri because I'm going to have to give myself a minute to try and pronounce that word. So name, I do apologise. This is going to be very complicated. Okay. bear with me. I'll try and do that in the meantime. Bit of an invalidation for him, unfortunately, so he's going to have to try and go again, but I think that'll be it. He's got one more run. We have the McLaren going for Maggots and Beckets. They haven't invalidated on Cops, but they have invalidated on Maggots, so that is unfortunately going to be them done. They'll have to wait a little bit longer. We do have Robbo, I believe, starting a lap. They do start the lap right here. Here we go. What's it going to be for Robbo? Turn 1. Very, well, should be very easy depending on how much downforce you're running. Nice and flat. 7th gear, though, as you want to try and keep the power up into 4th to do the chicane. Some people opt for 3rd, which is what he's opting for, 3rd gear. And then down to 2nd on the exit, trying to get all the power. That is very, very crazy, but he makes it work, I guess, into that left-hander off turn 6. Bit of a late apex, which they catch nicely, and of course a double apex in 7th. Shifting up the gears to try and get the traction. A little bit of a bump also, I feel, on that part of the circuit through Cox now. Very, very easy to get very, very wrong. Down to 7th, lift off the throttle, back on the throttle, try and straighten up with the wheel as best as you can, as much as you dare. You gain that time, of course, but you might cause yourself some problems if you go too wide, of course. Now through Maggots and Beckett's, trying to get all the track as much as they possibly could. That was pretty crazy. Just under 4 tenths right there, so they might have a go at Niffo. Niffo is on an out lap, so Niffo will have a chance to catch back up, although they do need to hurry up. They've only got 30 seconds to get this lap in. Robbo, round the final corner, what's it going to be for them in the Williams today? Across the line, and that is not going to be enough to get to Nifojan there, unfortunately. It will not be enough, but it will be a good improvement. Let's see if that's going to be enough for them to be able to stay in front of Dave Raptors. That is the question. Who else is going to cross the line? I think we've got the McLaren, who will get a lap in eventually after that mistake just beforehand, of course. Here we go, across the line. What's it going to be for them? The final minutes of qualifying. Not too bad. The AlphaTauri, unfortunately, not getting a lap in the end. Dave Raptors right here. Anybody else? I don't think we're going to see anybody else finishing. That is Nifojan, who did not get around in time, unfortunately. They did not get around in time, so that is a heck of a shame. Still a P3 at the moment, but it could change. Dave Raptors, we know he is always very, very quick. Maggots and Beckett's a little bit wide on the apex, which loses him a slight bit of time across the sector line on the exit of Maggots and Beckett's, and he might even get a tow from his teammate. I think he will get a tow from his teammate, so this could be very tasty indeed. Across the sector line, what's it going to be? 5 tenths improvement right here. Not bad at all. This will put them right up there. Now, getting that slight tow, will it be enough to actually give them an advantage, or will it have just caused an issue? I don't know. Final chicane, braking as late as he possibly can. Be careful on that curve. Shift up to minimize the wheel spin. Try and be smooth on the throttle. Across the line, what's it going to be? And it is going to be a P4 in the end. It was a very, very good effort, but it wasn't enough to get to Niffo. And that'll be qualifying done. Zingy will take pole position at arguably his home Grand Prix. I will say it again. He will be furious of me saying that. But he will take that pole position with a 27.0. 3 tenths in front of EagerPro right there. And he's loving life at the moment in that AlphaTauri. Alrighty. That is all good to go. And just waiting for the McLaren to cross the line, and that will be qualifying finished. We'll get those results, and then we'll load into the sprint race. We'll find out, is it going to be clear or cloudy? I'm pretty sure it's not raining. I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'll be wrong. We'll see. We'll see. All right. Let's wait for it to load, and then we'll be good to go. Alrighty, Zingy takes pole position, EagerPro P2, and Nifojan in P3. That is the rest of the grid. And then we'll skim through the race director just in case if we need to later on. We'll be back in a bit. We'll be back in a bit. We'll be back in a bit. Ready? Hold! Go! Who's going to get it into turn one? We're finally away. Zingy gets away well as usual. Eaglepro's line into P2. The Williams looking to go side by side, but they back off. The McLaren, though, they were definitely giving it a shot. They're still going to give it a shot to the inside line. Space is going to have to be left. Will they be able to get the advantage, though? No, they will not. They'll drop behind by turn 5. That is the other Williams spinning. Dave Raptors is round, unfortunately, right off the line. I do not believe it. Problems for him. Anybody else going to be looking to go for an overtake? The Williams goes defensive as once again Gatos tries to have a go. Oh, and a mistake! A mistake! 2 mistakes for both Williams, dropping down the order. Now both of them down to last. Absolutely tragic at the home Grand Prix. I do not believe it, but that is the grid somewhat settled right now. Dave Raptor's got a little bit of work to do if he wants to catch up to the grid. Zingy leads the way. Eaglepro sitting in P2 and Nipajan is right there. Very, very close behind, ready to make an overtake as soon as Eaglepro makes a mistake, of course. Almost losing the rear in the dirt. Yeah, very easy to do. Everybody's got lots of energy. It's just about setup and straight line speed. He's got a nice advantage. Will he be able to get it, though, into the braking zone? Around the outside. He's really going to try and get it done. This time he keeps it within the track limits. Eager Pro, he's going to have to leave the space. And now Nipojan's going to have to leave the space. Oh, and there's contact. I do not believe it. They're round. Eager Pro's going to drop all the way down the order. And then that is going to be Nipojan in an interesting position. He's not going to be happy with himself, even though he's just gained that position. Dave Raptors makes that move, and unfortunately, that is Toprak has having an issue. So he's going to hope that he can catch up in a little bit. 9 laps of this sprint race, and we're already on lap 2, so it's not going to be easy, but he's got a second opportunity when we get into the main race, of course. The top 2 splitting off a little bit. Gatos in P3, and then we've got Sefka sitting in P4 in the Mercedes on their debut. Let's see what they can do. I'm sure they can be pretty quick around here. They've just got to try and keep it clean, keep it collected, relax. They've got a long way to go, and then they can get into this, of course. Just progress. Let themselves work everything out. They've got a Williams right behind them. Robbo's already caught up, but he lags back massively, and he loses a massive amount of time. That's very weird. Very, very weird. Not really sure what happened there. Nifojan, though, he's 4 tenths behind Zingy. Zingy wiggling a little bit. Nifo wasn't close enough to make an overtake, so it's not really a big problem. It's just kind of breaking the toe. Very close to track limits, maybe even over track limits there for Nifojan, so he can't afford to do that too many times, otherwise he will be in trouble. Nifojan definitely looking to try and push early on as he goes for that fastest lap. He wants to have a go now or never. He's not going to let Zingy relax. DRS will be available right here, so he might even have a go on this lap. I doubt he'll have a go on the hangar straight, so it's probably going to be more like the back straight. No, it would be the Hanger straight. This is the Wellington straight. There you go. Sorry about that. Okay. Nifferjan just building up the tension, getting ready to pounce. They know what they got to do. Zingy, he's trying to think, well, how can I keep this guy behind? How can I just defend? But Nifferjan already using a lot of energy to try and catch up. And Zingy, he's just going to be ready to deploy everything that he's got in that car. That's a yellow again for Chopak, unfortunately. So he's having more and more issues. Those tyres, once they're heated, they just can't cool down, and it's very easy to keep making continuous mistakes. And here we go. Nifferjan, does he have the straight line speed advantage? I think he does. He has the DRS, the ERS round the outside. Can he get this done again? Zingy will not let him have a go. He'll go nice and deep to hold on to the position. Late on the brakes. Will Niffer go? No. Puts the pressure on and causes Zingy to go very deep into the corner. At the final corner, the traction is there, but not good enough, as he unfortunately is just blocked by the back of the AlphaTauri. He'll have to sit behind, but that was very, very good energy right there. Very good pressure put on by Nifferjan. Then he goes defensive, and he goes as late as he possibly could to get back to the racing line. A bit cheeky, but Nifferjan luckily wasn't actually going for a move. He's got DRS, and he's using the energy to have a go already. Contact, this is a very late movement. They go into, oh my lord, into turn 6, and that is contact. Zingy's going to be furious with that one, as he really pushed them quite wide and gained that position. So Zingy's going to be looking to try and make that move back, and with the energy that he has, it is going to be possible, very, very possible. We've got Rolbo sitting behind Safka, so he's wanting to put that pressure on, but the DRS train is not going to be easy to get out of. So even though you have pace, you're just stuck, and he's going to have to be creative and wait for a mistake to occur from a car in front, as he is once again so far on the limit on the exit of Beckett's, but he's got no energy left in that car. We could see a move right here. No, Safka's going to have to sit behind. He wasn't quite close enough. Almost contact with Robbo. He's really not letting anything go to the inside. He puts the pressure on, and he's not even got his nose in. That was very close to contact, and Safka left space, and he's now going to get the switchback maneuver. That was very, very rude from Robbo. Luckily, the other car yielded, and he's managed to get it done. But Robbo can't afford to do that too many times, because otherwise he is going to be down at the back of the pack with no front wing. Zingy, he is still in P2, and with 5 laps on the board right now, I don't think he's worrying too much, although he is using the energy and already going for the move. Defensive goes the Ferrari, and he's still going to try and swoop around the outside. He's going to give the space. Nifferjan is round as he loses the car, just as Robbo did on the opening lap. Once again, that corner just catching people out, and that is him down to P7 after fighting for the win. Zingy now 3 seconds in the lead. Absolutely tragic. He could still catch up to the pack and maybe have a look at getting some moves just before we get to the main race. But Zingy, he's loving life. He's good to go. We've got Gatos in P2 and Robbo sitting in P3 comfortably. Let's see how this one goes. Alrighty. The train is split. 3-second gap to Zingy and the rest of the field. Everybody else is somewhat close together. Of course, Niff has a 2-second gap, and then Toprak has unfortunately lost out a lot of time, but right now he just needs to focus on trying to get prepared for the main race, and then he can definitely have a second opportunity of getting back into this one. So he shouldn't be worrying too much. DRS could be available for Robbo, and DRS won't be available for the car in front, although he doesn't actually have any energy to deploy. Still going defensive, does the McLaren, so he's going to put himself in a compromised position, and that does make it very easy for Robbo to have a go, as he's going to spot a position, a spot space on the inside. Side by side, they will carry on. That is a retirement there. Not going to be a safety car. Side by side through Maggots and Beckett. And that's Robbo going to make that move. Absolutely perfect. Very, very well fought. The McLaren wants to even have a go right here, but he backs off. And that is going to make it very, very nice for Robbo because he's going to have a bit of a gap to try and hold off. But DRS is available. No ERS really available for either driver, so it's just about DRS. Straight line speed and setup to the outside line now. He is ahead, but only momentarily as he drops back. Robbo brakes as late as he possibly could into the braking zone now. We go into the chicane. The McLaren wants the outside line. Oh, and there's a loss of the rear for the Mercedes. Was that contact? I don't know. It looked like it might have been, but it was a very, very, very interesting slide. Eager Pros round. Everybody having issues all of a sudden on lap 7. I do not believe it. What had just happened? Big switch up. Sevka having issues. Eager Pro down the order. Nifferjan makes those 2 positions now, and he's going to be loving that, but he doesn't have DRS range right now, so that's not easy for him. Dave Raptors managing to make the move work already on the McLaren, which is absolutely incredible. He does have a time penalty, however, so it is going to hinder his progress. Robbo, he might have to watch out. Dave Raptor's got a little bit more energy than Robbo. He's catching up significantly. That advantage is absolutely incredible. He must be lifting. There's no chance that he gains that position legitimately. He lifted all the way, and he's going to actually... Robbo is going to allow his teammate to get in front, and then I assume maybe defend from the McLaren to try and get out of time penalty range. Maybe that's what's happening. I don't quite know. But yeah, it seems as if Robbo has just given that position up to try and think of a team game. Will we see him be lifting through the more twisty-turny parts of the circuit to try and gradually lose time and allow his teammate to break away? Zingy goes for the fastest lap as he is on his own, just allowing himself to push with no pressure from behind. The McLaren is close to the back of Dave Raptors, so even though, Robbo I should say, even though they're trying to make this a bit of a interesting battle, I don't know if it's going to work. We're on lap 8 out of 9. And he needs to slow down a lot more than that because he's still in DRS range, and that isn't going to do anything today. Robbo holds the DRS and they make sure that no one can get through. And now Dave Raptors is out of a 1 second range. Nifojan is going to recognise this. He knows what's going on. He is having a look to the inside line. There's lag for the McLaren, and the McLaren goes back. And he's not going to be affected. That was amazing. Very, very lucky for that lag there. I thought that was going to be an incident, but in the end, it just didn't happen. Absolutely mental stuff going on. Nifojan, he's right behind, and he's hungry to make some overtakes. Lap 8 out of 9. He's got 1 and a bit laps to try and make 2 moves. DRS is available. ERS is not really available. He's got a lot of straight line speed, but he's not going to be able to make an overtake from that far back. At a corner like that, he is forcing Robbo, however, to push, and that does mean that Dave Raptors is going to be sacrificed, and he's not going to be able to create a gap for him. So all of a sudden, it's changed up big time. Nifojan, however, makes a mistake that might allow Robbo to be a little bit safer. Will he be able to hold on as we are on the final lap of the Great British Grand Prix sprint race? We will find out here on the final lap, as I repeat myself once again, and I do apologise for that. Robbo, he is ahead, doesn't have the DRS of his teammate. Nifojan has the DRS. Will Dave Raptors drop back and allow his teammate to hold on? I think it might be their best bet, but no, he is just pushing to the maximum to try and gain something from the cars behind. If he can, that would be phenomenal for him. He might actually be able to jump. Maybe the McLaren and the Mercedes switching up as the Mercedes makes a mistake, unfortunately. Nifojan, he knows what he's got to do. He is right there. He's going to get Dave Raptors on time penalties at least, so he just needs to get Robbo here. And with the straight line speed he has in that car, he might have a go. However, Robbo, he has more energy in that car available. He's going to use everything he can. DRS is available. Straight line speed. It is advantage Nippo. He's going to be able to go alongside into Stowe corner. Switchback, is it available? I don't think so. Into the braking zone, he goes defensive one more time. Space is going to have to be left as Nippo Jan is to the inside line. Robbo does not leave the space. And that is going to be Zingy winning the sprint race. Robbo to P2 and Nippo Jan in P3. There's going to be some questions about that one. Dave Raptors drops to P4 with the time penalty. And Gatos in P5. Sefka Eager Pro will be finishing off the order. That is how that one goes. GG in the end. Zingy, after the battle at the beginning, once again, like in Hungary, it ended, and he just cruised to the finish after that, with a fastest lap as well, of course. So all good to see. Alrighty. Zingy takes the win, Robbo in P2 and Nifo Jan in P3. Dave Raptors got us. Sefka, Eager Pro and Shropak DNFing earlier on. We're going to skim through the race director, but we're not going to get to see it because the game doesn't want to. We will see you in a bit for the main race. Alrighty, sorry for a bit of a different introduction to the race. Unfortunately, we're not going to have the usual situation. Because the lobby disconnected me, it's put me in a car, which means I'm going to have to retire from the lobby as soon as the lights go out. And yeah, hopefully we'll be able to see the race start. I'll try my best to be as quick as I can. Here we go. Good luck to everybody off the line. Alright. Ready? Go! Who's gonna get it? Who's gonna get the best start? We're gonna retire and hopefully we can see the first few corners. Come on, give it to us. There we go. We will see it after that. And oh, it's side by side. Robbo to the inside line. Nippo Jan is there. He's now going to have the inside line himself and he's going to try his best to get the move done. We can hardly see what is going on. Nippo Jan will gain the position. Dave Raptors is right behind Robbo's teammate. Is trying to put the pressure on. He wants to have a go already and he's going to send it to the inside on the soft tyre. He's not going to fight him, I don't think. Oh, a bit of a mistake there for Nippo Jan. And it's definitely going to put the pressure on. Dave Raptor's going to look to the outside maybe. He doesn't have the straight line speed advantage. He does have the grip. So maybe he can get a good exit. He might have a chance at getting into this P2 position. And maybe trying to fight down Zing. We saw it so many times in the F1.5 Championship where he starts on the softs to try and go to the hards and get a significant undercut. And that would say, or suggest, that we are going to be on a full dry race. To the outside line, Dave Raptors does go. He's not fully alongside as Nippo-Jan holds on the straight into the braking zone. Will he have an opportunity? I think he's going to try and find an opportunity, but no, he does not brake late enough. He's going to have to sit behind his teammate. He is eager to try and do something about this. Zingy, side by side of the final corner. Dave Raptors is forced off the circuit. What is going on? Zingy's had an issue. Del Robbo goes through. He's going to gain that position. I don't think anybody can be blamed. Robbo right behind, sitting in P3. Now going to find the opportunity to P2. There's contact and he's round. I do not believe it. Oh, that was very, very tight. Nifo also spinning out. And Zingy somehow, after having a mistake, still holds on to P1 by quite a margin, leading the way. Absolutely crazy stuff. I do not believe it. Dave Raptors, he still hasn't managed to get through, but he is sitting in P2 in DRS range. So that is good to see for him. Gastos in P2, Eager Pro up to P4. They're in the train right here. Then we've got Sefka, who is, of course, right behind 9/10 though. They need to catch a little bit more if they want that DRS train. They've got about half a lap to get it done, so they can definitely do it, but they really do need to push into Mike and Beckett's, otherwise they will lose out big time. Robbo is going to make that move on the AI car. These two are split up a little bit, but Top unfortunately is not going to be in this race today. They will be classed as a disconnected car. Dave Raptors will not be able to challenge Zingy into Stowe Corner on this lap, but DRS will be available soon. I think he might have a good chance at getting a move done, at least while these tyres are still good to go, but they're going to wear out pretty quickly. As you can see, he's fighting the wheel. They have so much grip, but they get very, very hot. Although the clouds are pretty dark today, so it does cool down the track a little bit and make it a little bit easier to drive in these conditions. Fastest lap there for Gatos, so he's definitely got some pace in that car, sitting behind, waiting for these guys to have issues. DRS to be available. Is he going to try and push for the move? No. He's going to let it go, but he has an advantage still. Zingy goes defensive to the inside line. He's going to take the racing line, try and go for the switchback, maybe Dave Raptors. He will have to go a little bit early to the inside on that one, but well defended as Zingy delays his throttle input and keeps Dave Raptors behind. Dave Raptors, though, once again, being very, very close, trying to have a look, but he will not have a go in cops. He tried to kind of trick Zingy into doing that, but I'll be honest, Zingy doesn't really get tricked very easily with those kind of things. Although, Nifo Jan did do it to him earlier on in the sprint race, so he does get tricked on occasions. Here we go. DRS available. ERS is available, and his first opportunity will arise right now. He's going to have to try and get him in the braking zone, though, as the DRS straight wasn't possible. And I don't know what is going on, if it's contact or lag, but everything is going everywhere. And all of a sudden, is that a ghost car from the McLaren or not? They lagged back, and I think Dave Raptors, I don't know, maybe he's seeing it different to us, and he was actually smooth and trying to get around Zingy. I don't know, but I believe it's our side that the lag is coming from, because everybody's lagging, not just one driver. Eager Pro in the train right here, getting his gearing a little bit wrong, maybe having to switch up, unless that was a game bug, locking up a little bit and going a slightly wide as Dave Raptors. So lap 4, and already maybe those softs have already given up, and that is never what you want to see. He could be in a bit of trouble here, and Dave Raptors, he might have to consider defending and going into the pit lane rather than attacking. Zingy has a 5/10 gap. That may be enough for him to hold on, and he is on the hard tyre, so he's not going to have amazing pace, but he will be good to go temperature-wise. On the exit, DRS is available once again. He's using all the energy he possibly can, Dave Raptors. He's going to try and get as close as he can with those tyres. He wants to have a go into the final chicane, but I think it's a lost cause as he goes completely off understeers, and I think he's going to have to consider going into the pit lane on the next lap and then trying to go to the end, all the way to the end on a set of hards. I think you do need to do about 5-6 laps if you want to go to the end minimum. Maybe have to push it to 7 laps. I think that's what he's probably going to try and do. 7-8 laps is what he will try and do, just to get everything he possibly can out of them, even if it's not the fastest way, and then pray that the severe undercut is an advantage. Will it be? I don't know, but it's worked in the past. What's not to say it can't work again? What's to say it can't work again? There you go. Gattos sitting right behind him, P3. There's a bit of a gap forming with Eager Pro and the McLaren, so he needs a little bit more to catch up, otherwise he's going to be vulnerable to Sefka. Sefka is sitting behind. He will be the first one to attack if Eager Pro does lose out, and he is obviously going to see that. He doesn't want to lose out on the train, otherwise he'll be in big trouble, and for his race that would be absolutely devastating. Lap 5 out of 26. He's good to go. Even more so as Gattos. He's got a lot of energy in that car. DRS is not going to make it easy, but he must have the tyre advantage by now, and he is very, very eager to try and get through. He wants to have a go already. Will Dave Raptors take it to the pit lane? He will, and he's going to slingshot the McLaren through. The McLaren, will he be able to get to DRS range of Zingy, or is Zingy going to break away at this point? I do not know. Oh, very, very big moment. That might allow Eager Pro to catch up. Eager Pro did hold on to DRS range. So very good job for him right there. Nifojan has an issue, it seems. Just as they caught up to the field, they spin out and they lose out big time. So they're going to have to work a little bit harder and try and catch up that gap again, unfortunately. Now, promoted to P2 and 3 is Gattos and Eager Pro. They're on the podium provisionally. And that's, of course, Dave Raptors taking the first pit stop. So he is the one to react. He's the one to force other people to think really hard. Usually you go for the normal strategy. But with an alternate, very, very alternate strategy on the board, you really do have to be cautious. It's also a longer pit lane with a slower speed limit, of course. So that's also something that's very confusing, and it can make you have some pretty big issues when you're trying to calculate your strategy. Here we go, Eager Pro going to have a go into Stowe. To the outside line he goes, that's what he chooses, that's what he's given by Gattos. To the outside, he still carries it all the way around. Gattos is going to have the outside line into the chicane, but he's not going to even try and outbrake him. He's going to look for a switchback, but no. Eager Pro will have the traction, and he now sits into P2 where he was last time around in Hungary. That's absolutely brilliant news for him. Very good job indeed. Let's see, will Gattos be able to catch back up and get back through? You can see from the POV of Sefka, he's on the hard, so is Igor, so is Zingy. But Gattos, he's on the medium tyres, so he should have the pace at the moment. Sefka loses the rear, I do not believe it. Ice cold it seems, and I will be honest, Silverstone, it's very notorious for that. The track is just so slippery. Even if your tyres are up to temperature, it's very, very, very tricky to get right, and unfortunately he's going to lose the car and lose out. On the medium tyre also is Robbo, so he's either going for the alternate strategy or going for an aggressive two-stop, which is very unlikely, but regarding his teammate has gone for a soft tyre, it might not be an impossible idea. We will have to see if it does work out and if they really do try and give it a shot, but right now, this is the battle. DRS and ERS is available, but he's not using any, so he's just going to hold on for now, let these tyres run their course, and hope that having DRS will allow him to lose minimal time on that ever so fading medium tyre. Although I'd say usually the mediums do wear around about lap 8 to lap 12, so maybe they're off a little bit earlier than we expect. Alrighty. To the inside line goes Robbo, and he's going to have that move. Gattos is going to let him go. He's on the same strategy. He's a fellow medium tyre runner, but he doesn't really seem to want to fight too hard. Robbo doesn't have any energy, but he's got pace in that car, and he is pushing pretty hard. He really does want to give it a shot. The question is, will he be able to get the job done or not? DRS available. This time takes a bit more of a traditional exit out of Beckett's. Giga Pro though is too quick in a straight line despite the DRS, and he'll be loving life right there, still sitting in P2. No worries at all for the Aston Martin, who holds on nicely as we head on to lap 9 now. Zingy leads the way. He starts the lap, and he's been leading for I think the entire time. Of course, there was a little bit of a shindig that we had earlier on which got very, very confusing, but other than that, he's been good to go pretty much from the word go. Not that word go. From the word go when I counted down the lights. There you go. So many goes. Okay. Robbo, nice and close. The glory is here. Who is going to be able to get on the podium for the final ever race we have in LSI for F1 22? Of course, we do have a race tomorrow. But this is the Friday to the inside line. He is really going to try and send it, but no. Backs out last minute. Giga Pro will not let him get in his head. He is going to have a look once again, just trying to keep the pressure on. On the straight, however, will he have the advantage? Giga Pro has a very, very good exit. A bit of a wiggle as he almost loses the car. DRS is available for Robbo, and it is going to be powerful enough, so he will have a go. To the inside at Stowe. Oh, it's going to be tight. It's going to be very, very tight. He has to leave the space. Giga Pro comes back a little bit as it was very, very, very close indeed. He now will outbrake him. Robbo is going to make it work on that medium tyre. Now, all that Giga Pro needs to do is try and hold on until the pit stop range, and then he will have the advantage. If he doesn't allow Robbo to escape, then the strategy that Giga Pro is on will always be better. It will always be quicker. And on lap 10, he hasn't got long until those tyres do die out, so Giga Pro has a very good chance at holding on here. He also hasn't lost that much energy in the last few laps, which does make things a lot easier. Giga Pro catching up a little bit as we get to Cops Corner. He's good to go. Oh, very close to track limits, and he might even have gained himself a track limit warning there, which is never what you want to find yourself getting. But it's sometimes what happens. DRS available this time for Giga Pro, and ERS available. He is catching up very easily, and I think he's going to get more than alongside, even ahead, as we get to Stowe Corner. Trying to hold it around the outside, but there's contact. Giga Pro is round. I do not believe it. Robbo will take that position, will hold that position. Almost contact right there with Nifojan and Giga Pro. That was very, very tight. But he was spun on the racing line originally, so I don't know if you can really say too much about that one. That is such a shame. Giga Pro down to P5. He's going to be furious. His tyres are going to be very, very hot. Alrighty, that is once again another mix-up. In the meantime, Zingy has got a 4-second gap to the rest of the field, so he is absolutely loving it. That was unfortunate. We'll note that down and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, Zingy was loving life until we watched him, and then he was all of a sudden in a bit of a tricky situation. Robbo 4.1 seconds behind Guttles. 2.4 seconds behind him. They're both on that medium tyre, so they're going to be losing a little bit of tyre life, a little bit of pace in their cars at the moment. You've got Nifojan, 2.8 seconds from Guttles. He is trying to make that gap back up that he had earlier, but they're both into the pit lane already. Already! So they're going for a severe undercut, and they're going to let Niffo go, gain that P2 position. He's going to be just trying to go as fast as he possibly can, and then he'll get onto those fresh medium tyres, and he'll have mega pace. I don't know if this is the right call here for Robbo Gatos, but they want to try and get a very nice undercut that Dave Raptors is also looking for. Dave Raptors into the final chicane. He hasn't had as much of an advantage as he probably would have liked. These guys are going to have some pretty cold tyres in fairness. However, maybe Dave Raptors has had a bit of a mistake while he's made that pit stop. After he's made that pit stop, I'm not quite sure. But yeah, that's an interesting one. Dave Raptors not making the progress that he quite wants to, which is never going to be easy, of course. So what a shame, but never say never. He is 3.3 seconds behind Gatos with warm tyres, so maybe he can catch up. But like I said, that undercut maybe isn't working as well as he would have liked. Of course, Robert's just made that pit stop, but now the gap to P2 is 9.3 seconds. Absolutely incredible. Right now, will Zingy be able to get it done again? Did he have, what, a 16-second gap advantage last time around in Hungary, he said? I thought it was 15, but I think it managed to get to 16 right at the end. So he had an extreme advantage in pace last time around. Will he have it again? At the moment, I don't think it matters if he has pace. He just has such an advantage. He doesn't even need to worry. He can just cruise to the end as of now. Nifo Jan sitting in P2. They're just trying to make progress, trying to put as fast laps in as they possibly can. They are on a superior strategy compared to those around them. EagerPro also actually to consider in the pit lane already, and they're going to come out a little bit behind Dave Raptors, unfortunately, but they are going to be on that medium tyre, which is always going to be a nice advantage for them as they come up the hill of the pit exit. Let's see what they can do in a couple of corners, of course. Sefka sitting in P3. Had a couple of issues, unfortunately, throughout the race, which has put him on the back foot, but I'm sure he could still get a good result. Lap 13 out of 26, still got a long way to go. Just hitting the halfway mark. Anything can happen. We could possibly even get a safety car, to be honest. Regarding the situation that we're in with the F122 game, I am actually very surprised that we didn't get a safety car for the retiring car of me. Of course, it was a voluntary retirement, so that is why we didn't get one, but you never know with this game. DRS available for Dave Raptors, and he will make the overtake work on the AI car. Of course, disconnected, so they will not be part of the point system. That does automatically put EagerPro into P7. So if he does catch up to Dave Raptors, he would be fighting the P6, as of course the AI does go for a pit stop. So now we're in the correct running order. Not making pit stops yet is Zingy, Nifojan and Sefka. They are currently sitting right back where they are. Probably 13 seconds behind Sefka, so he will get ahead of him. Question is, how far behind will Nifo be on this strategy, and will it be possible for him to catch up gap-wise? And Sefka also, he's going to be in the same situation, although with that spin it's going to be very difficult for him to catch up, but never impossible. Never say never. Those hard tyres are going to be pretty old. It's not going to be easy towards the end of this race. Especially for Dave Raptors actually as well. That's going to be absolutely incredible to see if he can actually get to the end of this race. So we're going to be watching out for that. He does have DRS range just about of Gatos, so he's going to be looking for some action within a couple of laps' time. Running the iconic yellow and blue helmet that we've seen so many times in the F1.5 season. You can see it's pink on the front. Robbo gets fastest lap, but he's got that fresh tyre. You can see how advantageous that tyre is, but you can see even further how quick the medium is. Look at that. 1 second range already gained by EagerPro, and he will get DRS range on Dave Raptors. Dave Raptors just found himself in a position to fight with the McLaren of Gatos, but now EagerPro is going to be ready to upset the party. DRS, as you can see, is on for him. Now, Dave Raptors has to make this move work sooner rather than later. He's got a bit more pressure on him. If he can make that move and get a car in between, that'll be a lot easier for him. However, regardless of the situation, the pace advantage that EagerPro has right now, not is going to have, has right now, is going to be absolutely immense. He gains on the exit into Mags and Beckett's. He should gain here as well, although Dirty Air never makes it that easy, of course. Oh, and I do not believe it! Just as I talk about Dirty Air, loses the car on the exit. The car goes so light, you've got to be so careful. And he's now going to drop all the way behind and have a lot of work to do. 8.4 seconds, 8.5 seconds, 6, 7. I do not believe it. EagerPro is going to be furious with that one, and he's going to have to try and collect his thoughts and get back in it. Sefka into the pit lane, already on his way out on a fresh set of medium tyres. Let's see where he will end up at the end of this race. Waiting for the top two to pit, but they're still going a little bit further. I reckon they're going to be pitting on about lap 18 to try and... I mean, you could go to the softs. I reckon Zingy should go for the softs, you know. He had an advantage earlier on. He had about a 3-4 second advantage. I think, yeah, it was just over 4 second advantage. He can go to the softs quite nicely. Gatos lets the position go. I don't think they try to, as he tries to come back as hard as he possibly could. Switchback was looking likely, but no, Dave Raptors, he manages to hold on to that position after he momentarily gains it. So very good job there from Dave Raptors. Gato is going to be right behind in that DRS range, and they will have fresher tyres for later on in the race. So for them, it is not over. Nifajan into the pit lane, onto that tyre. More lag, unfortunately. I don't understand the lobby. It might have been because it's kicked me, which I think is a possible strategy or idea, unless they just have lag genuinely. But you can see as they wiggle the steering wheel, they are frustrated with the game, so they must be affected by this, and it is just not, or it's not just from our point of view. If Fajan leaves the pit lane, it's going to be side by side with Dave Raptors. Dave Raptors right behind. It's not going to be side by side. He's going to be behind. Quite far behind, to be honest. EagerPro retires just before the pit lane. That could be a safety car. It could be a safety car. It's not. How is that not a safety car? Going for the overtake. Dave Raptors will try and get every advantage he can. Nifojan is going to be furious with this one. He has that medium tyre that he wants to take full advantage of, but now he's got an old hard tyre runner in front of him, causing him issues. He's going to lose valuable time. Zinging into the pit lane, he isn't going to go for a soft set of tyres. He will just hold on to the normal strategy, which is a shame, but very safe, and he wants to secure the win, of course. Understeering a little bit as we get more lag. DRS available. Another snap there for Dave Raptors, but here we go. Making that move, it's going to be very possible. He has the exit, he has the straight line speed, he has the DRS, not necessarily the energy, He has the outside line, which once you get to a certain point on the outside of Stoke, you have the advantage because you can put the throttle on earlier. As long as you can get fully alongside on entry, you're good to go. And he's made that move stick. Very good job. Now his tyres are warm. The question is, will he be able to catch up to Robbo? Robbo does have a 3-second time penalty, unfortunately. So, once he gets within a 3-second time penalty range, Nifferjan will be looking to make that move. Now that is Igapra out of this race, and once again, I don't understand how that wasn't a safety car, but we'll carry on, and yeah, just pretends that it's a normal thing to happen. That is unfortunately Robbo making a mistake. Robbo's had issues. He's going to lose all the advantage that he had from earlier on. Nifferjan already within a 3-second time penalty range. And now it's going to look very, very different. Robbo, he's going to possibly have to go on a bit of a defensive situation right here. He's got a teammate sitting behind Nifferjan. All of a sudden, the aims might have changed. However, I think Robbo might have to just try and secure himself. I think he's probably going to be actually battling with his teammate right here for position, because Dave Raptors, although he's going to be within time penalty range, he also is going to have very worn tyres towards the end, so he might actually be able to hold on Robbo. I don't know if it was a full spin or a half spin. I'd suggest it was just a half spin, because he loses, 5 seconds, which is not a full spin. 2 seconds advantage gained by Nifferjan as he goes 6 tenths faster than his personal best lap time. Two seconds. It seems pretty consistent right now, though. It's enough, but it seems like a consistent gap that isn't really changing too much. Now you get onto the exit of turn 4 and 5, and all of a sudden you see the advantage he is gaining. Absolutely incredible traction from these medium tyres, and a purple sector even to try and back that up. So very, very good stuff. And you can even see the advantage difference between Dave Raptors as well. Just loses so much time, regardless if you're on the hard tyre, but it's 13 laps old or 7 laps old. The medium tyre is going to come out and get you. Oh, very close to track limits on 2 occasions right there for Nifferjan. That could have been a warning for at least either one, which is never going to be exactly that fun. That 19 out of 26, still a little bit of a way to go yet, but different strategies on the rise, and we can definitely see some switch up. Of course, we have this right here, Nifferjan and Robbo, that could switch up. We've also got Sefka Gatos. Will he be able to catch up a 7-second gap on that medium tyre? It's not impossible. That medium tyre is a lot fresher than that hard tyre, but he's got a lot of work to do. He needs pretty much just over a second a lap to even get close, and then have to make the move. So he needs about 1.2 seconds a lap, maybe, let's say, to try and have a good chance at getting this move done on Gatos, which will never be too easy. Never say never. Things could definitely change very, very quickly. DRS range not available just yet from Nifferjan. Nifferjan actually not really having a lot of energy to deploy, whereas Robbo has a little bit. Regardless of energy, though, the grip advantage that the medium tyre will have is just going to be significant, and slowly but surely Nifferjan will catch up, get within that time penalty DRS range, and have a nice opportunity at overtaking. The only question we do have is Nifferjan going to get himself a 3-second, and will the hard tyre switch around and have its own advantage? I don't quite know, because I think that Nifferjan went as far as they possibly could on those hard tyres earlier on, which gives them a nice advantage. A lock up there for Robbo, which is going to allow good momentum for Nifferjan, but he doesn't really gain that much. Kind of just sits where he is. I think maybe Robbo is trying to use the energy here in a bit more of a rationed way to try and just maintain a gap outside of DRS range. Still not quite there. Needs a little bit more time until he can get it done. It is just a matter of when. Up 21 out of 26 all of a sudden. We don't have too long to go off this race. About 5.5 laps left. It's going to be a sprint to the end. And will the tyres hold on? Yes, is the answer. They will hold on. However, for this guy, it might be a little bit of a different story. We'll have to watch on board and see if he can get to the end. I think he should be able to get to the end pretty easily. It's just whether his setup caters for that or not. Very loosey-goosey as always on the exit of Beckett's. So it's tricky for him. It's very, very tricky, and it could suggest that these tyres maybe aren't that easy. 2-second gap from Gattos though. Make sure you keep that in mind, because that could definitely change later. Ifajang still not able to close up. Lap 22 of the 26, 5 laps remaining of this race for him. He's got 3/10 more to try and hold on, but Robbo has managed to find it. Even though they have the disadvantage on tyres, they're loving life right now. And it's not too bad for them. Purple sector as he is pushing pretty hard, it seems, and he loses the car. I do not believe it. That's going to be a gap loss, but does he have a gap to maintain that time penalty range? He might well do. He might well do. 1.8 seconds. He still holds on as of now to P2, which is always what he wants, but he now doesn't have the glory of going for that battle. He's just going to have to sit behind. That is very unfortunate. Maybe he'll have to try and find a little bit more fire and see if he can get any more pace out of that car. Meanwhile, Gattos has definitely caught up. 2/10 now to Dave Raptors. Is he going to be able to make this move? 0 ERS exactly. You can see how hard he is pushing. Having 0 ERS is not going to help you any day of the week. It's actually going to slow your car down. So he needs to try and stop using the energy here if he wants to have a good opportunity at catching Dave Raptors. He doesn't have that many laps to try and get a move done once he gets DRS, but tyre-wise, it should be easier said than, well, it should be easier done than said. I've just realised I have had my mic muted for pretty much the entirety of the race. So for the highlights, we're going to voice over that one and I'll commentate again. But yeah, that was absolutely incredible at the end there, especially. Amazing stuff. Okay, let's get those results. Zingy takes the win. Zingy takes the win. Nafajan in P2, Robbo in P3. Then we've got Gatos, Dave Raptor, Sefka with our fastest lap. And then disconnecting was Toprak with Eager Pro DNFing, of course, earlier on. We'll skim through the race director just in case if we need to later on. Have it on standby, of course. I think that's going to be it. I don't think you can get the race director from the one before, can you? No, you won't. No, you can't. That is going to be how it is. We'll go through one final skim through the results, and then we'll see you in a bit for the post-race interviews. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Oh, what do I normally say? I've completely forgotten. Okay. Hello everyone and welcome back to the post-race interviews of the Great British Grand Prix. There you go, just about got it out. For Jan, we'll start with you. That was very, very tricky. A recovery race pretty much the entire time after some very, very tricky moments. Still a P2. Are you happy with the result, even if you weren't happy with the race?
I mean, had some fun at least. I mean, I already knew when I forgot there was a race that it wasn't going to be the best, because it's just generally not a great track for me.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, quali I missed the line, which was already a great start to a great event. So I got P3 instead of P2, which I could have easily gotten, maybe even pole. But yeah, that's aside. Just didn't miss the line. Had to start P3. Had a good start, if I can remember. I think, yeah, I had a good start, and then I had a tangle with Igor in the second to last penultimate corner. I don't know. I felt like I had left him enough room. I might have not. If I didn't, I'm very sorry to him. It's just so tricky to gauge to like look at room in that corner. So it was a bit tricky. So yeah, that was yeah, not optimal. And yeah, then later on, I just get while fighting with Zingy side by side for like 5 laps, just get fifth gear. I have like 2% throttle and the rear goes, which is typical F1 22. It maybe has to do with the torque and anything, but I'll have to look at it. But it felt I had no feeling at all. Just recovery and then P3 was the best I could get, so I was pretty happy with that. Actual race, yeah, I mean, what can I say? You get a good start, get Demon dragged into lap 1 because someone's unwilling to get pushed a little bit, whilst he does it himself. And then, yeah, lap 2, I get tapped on the rear after 2 cars send it down from Africa. So yeah, that's me spun around, and then I catch back onto the pack, and then I spin again through the air. The final corner, just again no feeling, and I spun around. And then, I mean, to have P2 after all that shenanigans is still pretty good. But I think it was an eventful one. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, for sure it was. Lots going on. I don't really know too much to say because you said everything pretty much there. So great recovery. I know it's not what you wanted. Very, very tricky to get around, but you stayed in the race and you scored some good points. Next race would be Spain in the next game. I just want to ask, do you like the new track change for the Spanish Grand Prix circuit, or do you prefer the old version?
For racing, yes. But I think I really hope the traction is good, because I really hate those no feel spins, and I think the last corner is a corner where we could get a lot of that if the traction is not implemented well.
Yeah.
If it is, it's very good. If it isn't, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, that's fair enough, fair enough. And what do you think about the 35% distance races? Do you think they're good, or do you think they're useless?
No.
Okay.
They're like, it's gonna be medium soft every time, or soft medium, and I think for a race to be good, you're gonna have to have 3 compounds that can work. So I'm not a fan of it.
Fair enough, fair enough. Well, one last question: how would you describe your race in 3 words?
Who hit me?
Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Well done today.
Thank you.
We move on to Zingy. That was tight at the beginning, and then everything kind of just loosened up, and you took it to the end. So well done there. Can I ask quickly before you go into the race, how many times did you extend turn 9?
Which one's turn 9? Cops.
Which... carry on. How was your race today? It was...
We'll talk after. Yeah, no, it was alright the first few laps. Of course, I had pressure from Niffle in the sprint race, but inevitably he spun, and then it was a bit of a just nice little cruise to the end. And then for the main race, I got one of my little minions to take him out, and then just drove to the end. There was there's nothing really to comment on really. It was just lights the flag. Didn't really see anything apart from the occasional car to...
Fair enough. I mean, that worked pretty nicely then for you. 2 wins in a row. That's going to be very good for your championship in the Friday tier. Do you think you can do well tomorrow?
Better for my ego, I'd say. But tomorrow, what 6 o'clock is on? Oh goodness.
That's going to be.
Yeah, I can make it, but I won't have any practice.
Going to be tight. I mean, you've got this race distance in, so I guess that's always something. Spain. Do you like the new track layout? Do you like 35% distance races?
Yes.
And do you like full quali as well?
What do you mean full quali?
So for the Spanish Grand Prix, we're going to be doing full quali and a 35% distance race, just to test it as a different feature. Do you like that kind of idea? I don't know.
I'll have to try it first in order before I comment on it, because obviously you got your 35% races, and they could be good, but I think some tracks it might be a bit more beneficial to use the 50% feature. But we'll have to wait and see.
Fair enough, fair enough. Well, thank you very much. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
Rear view mirror.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Well done today. Great job. And that's been it for the post-race interviews. Thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you tomorrow for the Great British Grand Prix, the final race in the F1 22 game. Other than that, it's been a pleasure. We'll see you in the F1 23 game next week. Bye-bye.